Hi there, my name's Dara, and in this video I'm going to teach you how to get started with Zoom Data. We're going to cover logging in, and then I'm going to take you through all the different interface elements that are present in Zoom Data so that you know where everything is and where you need to go to accomplish a specific task. Let's get started. So once you have your Zoom Data instance set up, you can access it through a URL in your browser. Zoom Data recommends Chrome, but we also support Firefox and IE10. That's also known as Edge. On Mac OS X, we support Safari as well. And a good thing to know is that we also support the embedded Safari browser on the iPad for most recent versions of iOS. And all of our default charts and dashboards are actually touch compatible. So if you ever want to present on a touch screen, you can rest easy knowing that that functionality is there. Now, once you've logged in, what you're going to see is something a little like this. It's called the home screen or the gallery, and it's got all these different tiles that show your different visualizations. Now, I'm going to actually take you through interactively so that you can see what this actually looks like in real life. So this is kind of what you're going to see when you log into Zoom Data. Now, you're not going to have as many tiles here, chances are, because you will not have created any visualizations yet. Here, I have a bunch of visualizations pre-existing. Now, with these tiles, you can roll over them to see some details, and you can click them to open the actual visualization or dashboard. Now that that's open, you can interact with it, you can edit it, you can do all of the things that Zoom Data lets you do with different visualizations. Going back though, there are a few other things you can do from this interface. So rolling over these tiles, you have a few buttons. You click this red button, that'll delete the dashboard. Click the star, that'll add it to your favorites. So let's do that now. Now, on this left panel here, you're going to see your favorites. Now that I've done that, you can see that this is now one of my favorites. And I can click it again to remove it. Now if I click favorites again, it'll be gone. Favorites can be really useful if you have a whole ton of different dashboards because it'll help you keep track of the ones you're working on right now. It can also be useful if you're giving a presentation that has multiple charts or dashboards and you want to flip through them like a slide deck. That way you can use your favorites and you can just select the ones that are relevant, and you can use this panel to switch through them. Moving down on the left-hand panel, we have two icons, which should be familiar to people who've used like Google Drive and similar services. We have My Items and Shared With Me. My Items show items that this user has made, so the ones that I created. Shared With Me, if a user creates a dashboard and they want to share it, when they save it, I will be able to see it here. And so this allows us to collaborate on dashboards and visualizations with coworkers, and that can be really useful. This search bar here is also very useful. You'll notice that right now it says search shared, so it'll only search this category. If you click each of these, you'll see it'll search within that category. So within My Items, within Favorites, and then you can search all. So for example, if I want all of my hotel dashboards, I can type in hotel and they'll pop right up. This can be especially useful when you've been using this for a few weeks or months and you have lots and lots of dashboards to sort through. Then one other thing on the left-hand panel is this blue New button. You click that and it'll help you create a new chart or dashboard, a new data source. And if you have a JSON file that you've exported from another Zoom Data instance, you can use this option here to import it as a dashboard. Now we're going to move a little to the right to look at these bars up here. So here you can see essentially what you're looking at. Over here you can sort. So we can sort by date modified, we can sort by name, or by data source. So this will keep each dashboard that's building off a specific data source in order. You can change ascending or descending using this icon here. And this button here will let you enter list view versus tile view. And these views display the same information but in different ways. If you're more familiar with lists, Or if you have lots and lots of different dashboards, I notice the list view can be more helpful. Otherwise, the tile view gives you a really nice graphical depiction of all your different charts. So that can be helpful as well. Next up, we're going to look at this top bar over here. Starting on the left, you see this button here kind of looks like a hamburger. We call that the hamburger menu. Over here, you can see all these different shortcuts to functionality that you can access elsewhere in the app as well. For example, in this All Items tab, you have a list of all your different dashboards and charts. Same thing that is you see here on the gallery, but it's really helpful because if you're on another page, this will let you navigate rather quickly to the dashboard of your choice. At the bottom here, you can import your dashboard configuration if you have a JSON file from another instance, and up here you can sort. If we click this Data Sources tab, it'll show us a list of all the different data sources. You can click them to create a chart based on that data source, or you can click this button here at the bottom to edit your data sources. This button over here is the Home button. If you're somewhere else in the interface, it'll take you back to the gallery or home page, like we just saw. Moving to the right, this gear here is your settings submenu. You click that and you see a bunch of different sub-items. We have sources, which let you edit your data sources, Chart Studio, which allows you to create custom visualizations, users and groups, which lets you modify who can access what visualizations and data sources, as well as create new users and groups, and Console, which shows diagnostic and performance information. Now, all of these might not be available to you depending on what user privileges you have, because based on the privileges in users and groups, certain things can be limited. For example, if your user is a business use case and they don't need to create custom visualizations with JavaScript, they might not have this Chart Studio icon. Case in point, this supervisor submenu here is only available because I'm currently logged in as the instance supervisor, which is kind of a sysadmin role. Now, most people aren't going to get a supervisor menu simply because most people don't need to be instance administrators here. That's more for technical resources. But the key takeaway from here is that depending on what you're doing with the platform, you can restrict which icons show up in users and groups. And so if you don't see some of these here, don't fret. It has to do with your user permissions. Moving to the right side of the top bar, you're going to see two more icons. We have Help, which gives you two links. We have Contact Us with a Question, and if you click that, it'll pop this up here. And if you're having a problem, if you think you've noticed a bug, if something's confusing you, you can type in your information here, and you can even attach screenshots or files, and this will go directly to Zoom Data's support. And I've noticed Zoom Data support is actually pretty responsive and pretty helpful, and shouldn't feel shy about contacting them. They're really fantastic. The other link here is the knowledge base, and this is a fantastic resource that'll come up time and time again. You click this, you can see Zoom Data's got a very comprehensive knowledge base. We have this user guide as well as an administrator guide depending on what role you're using. There's sections for connecting to data, sections for charting. They've got very specific up-to-date reference information, as well as these really nice quick start cheat sheets. And if there's anything that's confusing you, if there's anything that you feel like you need a refresher on, this knowledge base is really a fantastic resource for that. One other note before we go back to the Zoom Data interface, this icon here next to Zoom Data version, make sure that's on the version you're at. So for us, we're using 2.5, so it's set correctly already. But if you're using a previous version, you want to make sure that that's set to your version. Otherwise, you might get information for a different version of Zoom Data. Going back to the interface, we got one more icon here on the top right. This is your user panel. It'll show you what user you're logged in as. It'll let you log out by clicking this button here. and it'll show you some diagnostic information, which can be useful for troubleshooting or if you want to know what version of Zoom Data you're on. Additionally, if you're a user who's on multiple accounts, for example, if your Zoom Data instance has multiple clients, each with their own account, you can switch your account using this current account switcher. If you're only on one account, that current account switcher isn't going to show up, so don't worry about that. So now we've kind of gone over all the different interface elements in Zoom Data. We've looked at the gallery or home view, all the different panes, the hamburger menu, the settings menu, as well as support and user panels. Hopefully this is going to help you guys, especially in the future trainings. And that's all for right now. I'll see you in the next training. Bye-bye.